Down in the meadow in an itty-bitty pool swam three little fishies and a mama fishy too. Swim, said the mama fishy, swim if you can. So they swam and they swam all over the dam. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. And they swam all over the dam. Stop, said the mama fishy, you'll get lost. But the three little fishies didn't want to be lost. So the three little fishes set off on a spree. And they swam right out to the sea. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. And they swam all over the dam. We yelled the fishies, oh here's lots of fun. Let's swim in the sea till the day is done. So they swam and they swam, it was all a big lark. Till all of a sudden they saw a big shark. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. And they swam all over the dam. Whoa, cried the fishies, oh look at the whales. And quick as they could, they turned on their tails. Back to the pool in the meadow they swam. And they swam all over the dam. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. And they swam all over the dam. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. And they swam all over the dam. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo. Boom, boom, did-em, dat-em, wide-em, shoo.
Hi, so this is Celeste Hampton in Social Studies.
And I'm here to tell you the story of this single drop of water. When you go to your faucet and turn it on, there's the water. But how did it get there? And what would happen if there wasn't any more? Come with me out of the classroom and let's take a road trip to find out about where New Jersey's drinking water really comes from and how it gets to your sink.
I'm standing by one of 7 waterfalls that feed Pine Cliff Lake, New Jersey. The water hits the mountain, which on the other side of this mountain is a place called Wawayanda State Park, which borders New York and New Jersey.
The water here started as rain that went at the top of Barefoot Ridge and is going down, collecting in this pool. It's going down, 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 because water always seeks the lowest point, and it's going across the street there into Pine Cliff Lake Dam.
There are 7 waterfalls similar to this one, feeding that lake that I know of. There's probably some that I don't know of. There might even be underground artesian springs that are helping the volume of water in that lake, which is getting cleaner and cleaner. It is much cleaner now than it was 30 years ago. The new rainwater comes, bringing in fresh, clean water into the lake, and the lake is slowly improving. It used to be that you couldn't even see below 6 feet in that lake, and now you can see almost down to the ground. You know that this is good clean water because if you look right here, you can see the stones. The water is clear. There's no pollution in it. There's no garbage. There's no debris. It's just doing what water does all over the world. Hits the mountains and runs down. And I am standing in front of the beautiful Pine Cliff Lake in West Milford, New Jersey. Above the lake, you'll see Barefoot Ridge, that beautiful mountain behind me, and some kind of dramatic skies today. You can see that the clouds are gathering all over the world. There are people who watch the skies, hoping for clouds, hoping for rain. And it's possible that we're going to get some later on today, or maybe even tonight. Pine Cliff Lake gathers the water that hits that mountain and runs down. There are 7 waterfalls that I know of that feed into this kind of a nondescript, charming, pleasant little lake. But my town, because we have lots of mountains, we have 40 of such lakes. And this one is particularly important because it's the headwaters for some of New Jersey's drinking water. And so what happens is the water hits the mountain, slides down, fills up the lake, and when the lake is full, there's a dam that lets the overflow flow over the top of the dam and into a creek that connects it to another lake. And so in a minute, we're going to show you the dam so you can see the water coming over the top. The water that comes over the top of the dam is a lot hotter than the water that's at the bottom of the lake. If you're a swimmer and you can dive, you know that the further down you go, the colder the water gets. And the more sunlight hits the water, the warmer the water is. So that's very important for us up here, and I'll tell you why later. Let's head down to the dam.
The water coming out of the pipe is from deep in the lake. Over the dam is from the top of the lake. Question: are they both the same temperature? Yes or no?
The water that comes over the top of the dam is a lot hotter than the water that's at the bottom of the lake. All right, so here we are at Belcher's Creek. Belcher's Creek comes from the water that came over and under the dam that you saw previously from Pine Cliff Lake. Now, the sad thing about creeks like this one is that they have to take a lot of abuse. So if we can pan the shore there, you'll see that there's a white pipe sticking out in that direction. And the pipe is spewing something into the water, spilling something. And my guess, without knowing, is it's one of two things. What's coming out of that pipe is either septic effluent from the buildings that are behind there, or it's the water that's would have been drained off of the parking lots all over the United States. When you have a strip mall like you have here, the water, when it rains, it hits the pavement. The pavement can't absorb the water, so the water gets diverted and they get dumped in nearby creeks, and that's what you see happening over here. So that water could have oil from cars, from the pavement. It could have coolant or other fluids that come out of cars. It could have garbage or debris that people threw on the ground that was picked up by the water and put into the creek. And so, and in West Milford, everybody in West Milford gets their water from wells that take the water under their homes. So if you can imagine a giant straw making a hole into the ground, much like this one right here. See that big hole there? You put a pipe in it and put a pump for a well, and you can bring water up from the ground and into your house. And that's how the people of West Milford all live. 100% of the homes in West Milford don't have a public water supply. They have a private. They supply their own water, and they're drinking the water that's under their very houses. So it's important for us that we keep the water as clean as we possibly can, because we don't have a secondary source here. If our ground runs out of water, what do? We can't you can't take a shower, you can't take a bath, can't get a glass of water.
Not good.
Not good. Very not good. So even there are a few public water systems in West Milford, but even those public water systems are on wells. So water quality is very important to us. So I'm standing here in front of Greenwood Lake, New Jersey. You can see how beautiful it is in the springtime, the different shades of green on the ridgelines surrounding the lake. This lake has always attracted people for vacation purposes. They used to come from Paterson, New Jersey and New York City, and this is where they would come to relax in the summertime. I'm here in May, so we're not quite in boating season yet, but which do you think is the biggest lake in New Jersey? Do you think it's Lake Hopatcong or Greenwood Lake? If you said Greenwood Lake, you'd be wrong. It's actually Lake Hopatcong. But Greenwood Lake is the second biggest lake in the state. It's 9 miles long from one end to the other end, and we love it here. The people in the area love it here. They come here, they recreate, they play this frisbee golf game, they use the little park. People, all kinds of people have boats on the water. Babe Ruth used to have his boat here. Derek Jeter has his boat that way. And they're just great places to catch some sunshine and have some fun, go on a picnic, all kinds of things you can do. Somebody today's enjoying some music on the lake. I can hear it.
Here's a woodchuck sharing the shoreline. Deer, turkey, fox, heron, and many other animals besides fish share the water, and we need to learn to conserve the water for their benefit as well as ours.
So we're standing here on the east side of the Monksville Reservoir. This reservoir is the only outlet for Greenwood Lake that you just saw. Greenwood Lake, it has one outlet that's a waterfall. The water comes over the Greenwood Lake area. There's a dam. It used to have a giant water wheel 200 years ago. We're right at the border of West Milford and Ringwood. Ringwood got its name from a gigantic hammer that was banging in the woods that was helping make iron metal by harnessing the energy of the water as it went over the spillway. There was a big wheel, and it turned the wheel, and the wheel operated a big giant bellows that blew air into a furnace where they were cooking the rock, turning rock basically into lava, and then digging a trench in the ground and opening the furnace into the trench. And the liquid metal was heavy, so it would sink to the bottom of the furnace. It would come out into the channel, and it would make something that they called pig iron because it reminded them of a mama pig suckling her baby pigs. There would be one big trench and then little trenches off of the big trench, and the little trenches were where the liquid metal would come out. When the metal was finished, and slag came out, which is the leftover rock that's been melted that doesn't have metal in it, then they would close it all back up and reload everything for the next day. That furnace, when it was in blast, it ate the wood from the charcoal that was made from all the trees that you see around here. But at that time, when the furnace was in blast, it needed 1 to 2 acres of woods a day to turn that iron, to turn that rock into lava and melt it. So it was very, very, very hot inside that furnace, and it needed a lot of energy to do that. And so the American settlers, when they came here, there was a group of Germans, and they knew the magic of how all this worked, because they really didn't understand the science of what was happening inside that furnace, but they knew that they could make metal doing it if they put these ingredients in. So they would load the furnace up. It had a tower, a bridge, and the animals would come in and they would load the iron ore, the charcoal, and the flux ingredient, which I think was lime, and then they would light the fire and cook the stuff down. And it was a very, very dangerous job. It took a lot of men to keep it going. And once that furnace was in blast, you didn't stop. You just kept reloading every day. You kept reloading and reloading and reloading until it had a problem and you had to stop. So as they were doing that, more and more and more and more of these woods got eaten. Now, this water that you see over here, in the 1980s, there were some droughts in New Jersey, and they said, we need more water than we have. And so what they did was they built this they built this reservoir. There used to be some houses in there, and they physically moved the houses. They moved anything that would be under the water, and they basically extended the dam when they did it. So all of the houses still exist, but they've been moved over to Long Pond Iron Works, and you could go and we could see those at some point today.
Our water droplet is now here at the historic district of Long Pond Iron Works, just to show that there were industrial uses for water up here, and it affected a lot of water, using that water wheel and using that energy, that some of the effects of which are still felt to this day.
But the important part is the water comes out of Greenwood Lake and fills this reservoir, the Monksville Reservoir. And by the way, if you ever are looking for a place to see the stars at night without interference from city lights, this is one great place to come. You can come on this side, or you can park on the other side. If what you need to see is in the east, New York City is that way. If what you need to see is in the west, where it's late in the day now, so the sun is shining, it's going behind that ridge line, and that's the west side. That's the west side there, and there are no lights. This is the darkest place. You're around the reservoirs, you're in the mountains, you have no interference from what they call light pollution to affect your ability to see the stars at nighttime. Really beautiful. And you can rent boats here too, but they have to be rowboats. No power boats in the reservoir. People drink this water. When you turn your tap on, it could be this water. Now I'm on the other side of the Monksville Reservoir, and you can see we have more beautiful water here. And this water is heading for that dam over there. And you can see there's an opening. And if I could take you to that side, you could see the water whooshing down, going down into the next layer. Up here in the mountains, we have high spots and we have low spots, and the water has to accommodate. Water's always going to head for the lowest point. So it's going to head for that area there. It looks like a bridge, and it's going to spill over the dam, and it's going to be heading for the Wanacue Reservoir. There's nobody on the lake today because it's still pretty chilly out. I got my coat on, but people do come here for all kinds of reasons. They come to fish, they come to launch their boats, because this is a reservoir and people actually drink this water here. When you turn your tap on at home, it's coming from a reservoir somewhere, and this could be water the water that's from here can go all the way either to the town of Hackensack or all the way to the township of Newark. So if you live in Newark or Belleville or other places from there to here in New Jersey, this is the exact same water that's coming into your tap. When you take a shower, when you wash your dishes, people use water all different kinds of ways. And some people come here just to have fun. In the summertime, there'll be fishing, there'll be boating, there'll be kayaking happening here right behind me, and it's fun to come and watch people play in the water. There are a few dangers that you need to be prepared for if you want to come out and play. One of them is crawling all over this tree. This tree is full of poison ivy. If you touch this plant, it will make you itch. You can recognize poison ivy because it has 1, 2, 3 pointed leaves. 1, 2, 3, and the stem of the leaf is red, and the root part has hair. It's like got hairy. I don't want to get too close because I am really allergic to it. But if you look at the vine, you'll see that they're covered with hairs. Another thing you want to watch out for in the woods around here are ticks. Ticks are bugs that look like spiders. They have 8 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8 legs and they're very flat. A spider is fat, but a tick is flat. And so one of the things that we do when we live up here and we're around, potentially can be around these creatures anytime, is we put boots on. So I have my boots on. I got socks on. I have an outer garment, and when I get home, I will take all my clothes and I will throw them in the washing machine and with the hot water. And if there's any ticks in them that hitchhike a ride on me, they're going to go right into the washing machine and be taken care of. This side is Monksville. The sun is just set behind the ridge line there. Beautiful clouds. That side of the bridge is the end of the very end of the Monksville Reservoir. But on this side, this is the top of the Wanacue Reservoir. All of this water is being held up by a gigantic wall that makes the dam, and this is basically the end of the line for your drinking water. It's a beautiful spot. I've always thought this should be used in a car commercial. This stretch of road here that goes around this beautiful dam. They have the security fence now to keep people from dumping things into the water and dumping trash and out their car windows and whatnot. But this is one of the reasons why I love West Milford. When you think of West Milford Township, it's so important that the entire 80 square miles of West Milford and also the township of Ringwood are 100% in the preservation zone of the New Jersey, meaning that there can be no development up here anymore, no big development. Both of those towns are 100% protected. There will never be a Home Depot, there will never be a big box mart, there's never going to be a shopping center built, because when you bring those things, you bring pollution, and this is your drinking water. You turn your tap on at home, this is what you're drinking. Oh, thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons of water that you can help protect, that you can help conserve. It's springtime and all the winter snow has melted. Plus, we've had some great rain just now filling the reservoirs. But sometimes in the summertime, when the days are long and hot, the reservoirs can get low. If we get to a drought, they can even run dry. When this reservoir is low, it looks like a moonscape, just dust and rock. No water means no life. There can be no development up here anymore, no big development. Both of those towns are 100% protected. There will never be a Home Depot, there will never be a big box mart, there's never going to be a shopping center built, because when you bring those things, you bring pollution. And this is your drinking water. You turn your tap on at home, this is what you're drinking. Oh, thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons of water that you can help protect, that you can help conserve. Little things like making sure your tap is tight when you're done using water, taking shorter showers. If you use your dishwasher, make sure that it's full when you run it. Don't run it half full.
Turn your tap off when you're brushing your teeth. You don't need that water to go down the drain. When you want a glass of water, don't let the water run till it gets cold. Have a jug of water in your refrigerator and you'll have cool, refreshing water anytime you want without letting it all go down the drain. A leaky faucet doesn't sound like much. You just hear a drip, drip. But those drips can add up, and here to tell us how much they can add up is Bill Nye's friend, Mr. Wizard.
Drip, drip, drip. You've seen a dripping faucet like that, haven't you, Aaron? And sometimes people don't realize that it can be quite wasteful of water. So today you and I are going to figure out how much water it really wastes. Let's assume that it's dripping once a second.
Okay.
Okay? I'm going to shut it off because I don't like to waste water. Let's figure out how many drops there are in 1 cc. You see the 1 cc mark down there on the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay, now if you want to be a real scientist, you hold it up and you look right across so that you're seeing that line, and you count the number of drops
Okay.
that go until you make 1 cc.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
Right to the bottom of this.
27.
27. Okay, remember that. 27 drops equal 1 cc. Now, if that drip continued for 1 whole month, it would be a certain volume of water. What's this one?
100 cc. 1 liter. 4 liters. 10 liters. And 20 liters.
Do you think it would be any of these volumes?
Well, there's 5 of them out here, and it wouldn't be the smallest. And it wouldn't be the biggest. It's too big.
Well, so you're just started taking a wild guess, really, right?
Yeah.
So which one are you going to guess?
I'd say 10 liters.
10 liters?
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's actually calculate it and see how close you came. Here's the pen. So here you can fill in how many drops for 1 cc?
27.
Okay. Okay, now we just assumed that it was 1 drip a second.
Mm-hmm.
So how many drips would be 1 cc? How many seconds?
27.
What, 27 seconds, right. Okay, now multiply it by, this was 1 cc, now multiply it by 100. How many seconds?
2,700.
Right. Okay, now we wanted to find it, that's seconds, now find minutes. What do you do? 2,700 here,
Okay.
divided by 60. I have my calculator all set for you. There it is, turned on,
2,700 divided by 60.
equals, what do you got?
45.
Okay, up here, 45 minutes. Okay, now what are we going to do? We're going to multiply by 10. So what do you do here?
45 times 10?
Right? Just add a 0, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now we're going to take that figure. That's, by the way, 1 liter.
Okay.
Now we're going to find it, we're going to change it into hours. So what do you put here?
450.
50 divided by 60. Clear?
450 divided by 60 equals 7.5.
Okay, right here, 7.5 hours. Notice that's 1 liter.
Whoa.
Okay. Now, we're going to multiply that by
100.
100. So what do you put here?
750.
Okay. And 750 is 100. Now, we want to find out how long it's going to be. We were in what? We were in hours.
Okay.
And we want to find it by days. What do we have to do?
750 divided by 24.
Right? 700, well, write it in there first, right? Okay. 750
750 divided by 24.
equals. What do you got?
31.25.
31.25 days is about a month, right?
Yeah.
How many cc's?
100
100 liters.
liters.
Yes, you said what? You thought 10? Do you realize how many liter bottles that is? 100? In fact, in 1 month, at 1 per second, here's how much water you'd waste. Come on, I'll show you.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, how many did you guess?
Just 10 liters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And how many liters in a month?
100 liters. we
Yeah,
count.
dripping in 1 a second. And notice I have every 10th bottle moved out. So there's 10, 20.
30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Right. And if that happened to be hot water that was dripping.
You'd waste a lot of energy.
Right. So conclusion?
Get rid of all drips.
Right.
Here we are at the bottom of the Wanacue Reservoir Dam. That wall behind me holds up a lake that is where your drinking water comes from. Imagine how strong that wall has to be to hold up that lake. The pressure that's being pushed from the water, the deeper the water, the more pressure you have. You know, you feel that in the pool. If you go diving in the pool, the deeper you go, your ears might start to pop because of the pressure of the water. That water that you're swimming down, it gets heavier and gets, what do I want to say? I want to say it gets, as you go deeper, there's more and more pressure being pushed on your body. Imagine how strong that wall has to be to hold the pressure of all of that water on the other side of that dam. Now this area has been completely closed to the public since September 11, 2001. So the public has not been allowed here ever after September 11, except for one day. And that one day was the signing of the biggest law ever in the history of the United States. And that law is the Water Protection and Planning Act. The what they call the Highlands Water Protection and Planning Act. So now you know why it's called the Highlands. It's the Highlands because you saw all those mountains that are making the lakes below from the rainwater hitting the mountains and filling the lakes, spilling one into the other, into the other, into the other, all the way here. And underground here is a network of pipes that go all the way to the city of Newark on one side and all the way to the city of Hackensack on the other side. And those pipes are what is turning your tap water on. When you turn your faucet on at your house and the water comes out, it's this water going through those pipes. So we watched the raindrop go all the way from Pine Cliff Lake right here to the Wanacue Dam. And it's just spectacular. We have one of the best water supplies in the United States. That's why this area is so important, because there are so many big cities in the East Coast. You've got New York, you've got Boston, you've got Washington, D.C. All of that water up here gives it it gives the most people water. How do I say that? You're giving the New York State people, the New Jersey people, millions of people are drinking and using this water every single day. And that's it.
For rain, beautiful rain. For rain, for rain, beautiful rain. Don't disturb, beautiful rain. Oh, come, never come. Oh, come, never come. Oh, come to me, beautiful rain. Beautiful rain. Oh, come to me. Oh, come, beautiful rain. Oh, come to me, beautiful rain. Rain, 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 beautiful rain. Rain, 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 beautiful rain. Oh, come, never come. Oh, come, never come. Oh, come to me, beautiful rain. Beautiful rain. Oh, come, never come. Oh, come, never come. Oh, come to me, beautiful rain. When the sun says goodnight to the mountains, I am dreaming of the sun. Say good night. When the sun says good night to the mountain, I am dreaming of the sun. Say good night. When the sun goes down, the birds on the trees are singing sweet for the night. When the sun says good night to the mountain, I am dreaming of the sun. Say good night. When the sun goes down, the birds on the trees are singing sweet for the night. When the sun says good night to the mountain, I am dreaming of the sun. Say good night. When the sun goes down, the birds on the trees are singing sweet for the night. When the sun says good night to the mountain, I am dreaming of the sun. Say good night. Rain, 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 beautiful rain. Rain, 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 beautiful rain. Oh, come, never come. Oh, come, never come. Oh, come to me, beautiful rain.
Discover new music at kexp.org.